This is a video about how to reinforce or strengthen your Basquiat-inspired crown paper sculpture. And we're going to reinforce it and strengthen it with strips of paper taped on to the original paper just to give it an extra layer to help it be a little stronger before you add the gluey newspaper paper mache layer, which will really strengthen it. First step, I recommend taking your crown and pinching all the corners to make sure they hold their shape, and then just check that it's pretty symmetrical and balanced. Okay, and then you'll get your paper ready. This is recycled Cheerios box, and you can use thin cardboard like this, or a poster board, or cardstock, or even more watercolor paper, which is what this is. And I went ahead and cut a straight line, cut the box apart. If it's a piece of cardstock or poster board, you'll already have an edge. And then I'm going to use the ruler and do some measuring. I know that the crown is 1.5 inches wide all over. So 1 inch and then halfway between the 1 and the 2. So I'm going to use that mark to measure more strips. I'm going to go up to the top part of this piece of cardboard and line up the edge of the ruler with the edge of the cardboard, and then I'm going to make a mark over here at the 1.5, 1.5. And then I'm going to slide the ruler down toward the bottom of the cardboard and make a second mark at the 1.5. And if you can't see where the mark is on a ruler, just know that it's halfway between the 1 and the 2. And then I'll take the ruler and I'll match up those two marks. Hold the ruler where it touches both those marks, and then draw alongside the ruler. You got to hold your ruler, like push it down to help it be steady, otherwise it'll slide around. So then I have a 1.5 inch strip, and I can cut it out. And to save time, I pre-made some strips that I'll use. Once you have your strips of 1.5 inch wide cardboard, then you could measure all the pieces with a ruler to see exactly how long of a piece you need for each part to strengthen it. But to save some time, you can also use your crown as a measuring tool. So I can lay down the base at the bottom. I recommend doing that first because that helps kind of the whole thing hold its balance and kind of give it structure. So I lined it up against the strip of thin cardboard and traced along the edge. And that should be about 6 inches. Yep, 6 inches, because the base is 6 inches. And then I'll lay that down, and I could go ahead and tape that on while I have it ready. And for tape, we will use masking tape. And to use it, you find the end of the tape. Sorry, you have to use your fingernails usually. And then pull it out about as long as your hand, and then use your index fingers and your thumb to pinch the tape, like with both hands, like that. And then you twist. I'm going to twist my right hand toward me and my left hand away from me. So you twist your hands while you're pinching in opposite directions, but you got to do it fast for it to work. So twist. That's how you tear the tape off. And then once it's in the air, if you feel like that's a long piece, you can do it again. Pinch it and quickly twist your hands in opposite directions. And I like to pre-make my tape strips and lay them on the edge of the table just so they're ready for when I need them. And to tape your cardboard on to your crown, you can hold them in line like that. and then kind of in the air, whatever's comfortable, and then take your piece of tape, like while you're pinching it on there, and wrap it around. And then I just like to put one kind of in the middle to get it started, and then do one on the, maybe another one in the middle. You really can put the tape anywhere as long as it's long enough to wrap around. And then I think one more. Okay. And already that helps the whole crown stay up a little, with a little more sturdiness. Already thicker. And then for all the other parts, you'll do that same thing. Like if I was going to go over here to this part, you just line it up. You might have to kind of hold it in place, and I had to flip the crown upside down. Whatever you have to do to get it lined up. There we go. I should have done that on the blank side so I could have seen it better, but there it is. And then if you forget which one you were measuring, just hold it up and see where it matches. So that was there. If you want to know the measurement, that's about 3 inches. And then just like earlier, I'll take the tape and wrap it around. If it's a little too long, like that actually sticks out a tiny bit, you can go in and trim it a little bit. And wrap. And maybe just one more piece. You can even go at sort of a slant. And you would want to do this reinforcing cardboard or cardstock or poster board to each piece, and that'll help the whole crown be a little stronger. And I will say this in the next video, but when you're actually working with it, with the paper mache part, you'll do that mostly laying down. It'll be flat. I know it's a little wobbly right now, but when it actually has the layer of paper mache, it will stand up straight on its own, and then you'll be able to paint it and turn it into your confidence crown with quotes and words that give you confidence. Okay, so that's how to reinforce your crown with strips of thicker paper, and remember to reinforce each part. And remember, it's 1.5 inches wide. But of course, you could use this process for all kinds of different projects. It's just reinforcing it with a second layer. Thank you for watching.